Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, the podcast for all things Mecha. Jumpship incoming.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this new visual episode of Mobile Armor Radio.
Unless you're listening on the podcast, then it's exactly as
normal. Unless you're listening on the podcast, then it's just audio still. But there is a video component for those that wish it. And I am one of your hosts, Bryan.
I'm Chopper.
I'm Rob. See, this is what we look like. I bet you never knew.
You never knew.
Unless you've seen all of our other things that we've done.
True that. So we're on episode 57.
Oh, God, I'm glad you remembered because I couldn't remember.
It's on the agenda. Read the agenda.
I read the agenda.
I didn't read the agenda.
Typically, like Chopper and I don't. We're bad about that. We just kind of guess. And then we let Rob figure out what we're actually supposed to talk about.
And then he gets mad at us.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And look at that. With the Jumpship intro, we had some banter and everything.
For Bryan's banter, look at
that. Yeah, I did it. Complete with video. So with that, we'll move on into the Dropship and talk about what we're working on.
Dropship landing.
That is fun to use that. So welcome to the Dropship. This is the section of the show where we talk about what we're working on, and in the mech hobby space. And so I'm going to throw it over to Chopper.
Oh,
what have you been working on?
I am now still on month 2 of not working on anything. It's still Adepticon. Same old excuse you're going to hear until March.
Probably until after March.
Well, yeah, because the devil's in the March.
Then it'd be like it's Gen Con coming up.
I am going to be honest with you. I am making very big strides in my hobby room. That I will have some stuff done, or be able to get stuff done, painting again because I'll have actual table space. That being said, at the time of this recording, and probably the release of this date, I'll probably have worked on something.
It doesn't count. That does not count.
No. Because I'm going to go hang with a buddy on Thursday, and we're just going to hang and paint. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to bring some stuff. I'm going to try and finish John Bear Ross's giant scorpion thing that I printed many moons ago. I'll try and get that done too. But other than that, honestly, nothing. Just a lot of work, a lot of Adepticon prep, a lot of cleaning of the hobby space. Yeah, that's all I got. Sorry, guys.
So out of curiosity, Rob, because you edit the episodes, now you have to leave the odd pauses where we're just stumped and thinking about things.
Yeah. Any interruptions will be in the video now. You'll see it. There's no editing involved.
We have a lot of very pensive thinking into the camera.
Yeah.
So Rob, speaking of.
Yes.
What have you been working on?
I've been working on once again John Bear Rossi. Pat mentioned it, but he called it Project Quixote, I think it is. And it's pretty much a 40K knight. I don't know anything about 40K, but it's a giant robot from 40K anyways. And I printed one up, but it took over a week, I would say, to print this thing, because it's a lot of parts. There's a lot of parts going on.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool though.
Did you do resin or FDM?
I'm resin guy. I have only resin.
Guy? Gotcha.
Yeah. I think your FDM went down, didn't it?
Oh, it died many years ago. Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, if you're on the video version, you can see my mech and with his drawings to see how it turned out. It's also on our Facebook page if you want to go check that out. But please come to the YouTube, sign up, because that's where we're going to be. So
Yeah, we're going to be porting over there soon.
And the show notes will have the link to where you can buy it. I think it's like $17, something like that. But it's that might be Canadian because I'm not sure if it automatically changes. But it is awesome. It is huge. Lots of different weapon options, and very modular. He has all the instructions are for magnetizing it. I only magnetize the arms. Everything else is solid. But a lot of different, totally different options make it look different. I guess according to whatever faction you're playing in 40K, maybe. I don't know. So I did that, which took a while. And I also did, from Extra Guy Patreon, I did Pris on a motorcycle from Bubblegum Crisis. The picture's terrible because it's really close up. You can see all the little, I haven't cleaned up the image or the model too much yet. It's not prepped for painting, let's just say, but she turned out pretty good. And, I like her a lot. Extra Guy has tons of cool mechs. He does a lot of, lately he's been doing a lot of Titanfall stuff. So if you're into that game and you want 3D prints of those mechs from that game, check it out.
Well, I haven't played that game in a long time.
I've never played that game, so I have no attachment.
The second game does have a single player mode for it.
Yeah,
and that was a lot of fun.
I never got the second. I only played the first Titanfall.
I remember when it first came out, you can you're not in a mech at first, right? And then you hijack them, kind of.
I think you can unlock them and then you can summon them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing.
Oh, but you can also take them from someone else if they should happen to jump out of theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
But
fun game mechanics all around, really.
So there you go. Play Titanfall, but I never have. But that's what I've been working on pretty much. Those two 3D printing stuff. I haven't 3D printed in a long time, so it was nice to have a project kind of to do. So I enjoyed it. And that's about me. What about you, Brian?
Well, I'm in a similar boat to Pat in the sense of the Adepticon prep and projects like that. So a lot of my hobby time is devoted to printing and painting up terrain of every variety. But lately, one thing I've been kind of focusing on is for firefights, having kind of just blocking obstacles. I have a lot of buildings that I've used for dead zone and whatnot, but I wanted things that are okay. This is an impassable object. You can't go into it and out of it or anything like that. You have to go around it. And what I found is crash spaceships are a lot of fun to have as a battlefield piece.
Crash Bandicoot, what?
Crash.
Close.
Yeah, I think on your Twitter you posted it, didn't you?
Yeah, I have a couple, a pair of pieces that I found on Thingiverse that I think are a Star Wars spaceship of some kind. Someone recognized it, so I was like, okay. I'm not as well versed on the different spaceships in Star Wars.
It's a ZTZ976, from
some obscure cartoon.
It's some kind of, I think it was some kind of transport one. Like it wasn't one of like the main ones you see in the movies or anything like that. So
it was in the background of the Star Wars holiday special.
Yeah, probably. But that one, it was kind of fun because it came in two pieces, like the front and then the tail were both like crashed. And so I can either do it as like a pair of pieces and one battlefield, or in this case of like Adepticon, I'll have one in each section. And then I had one that was a piece from Corvus Games Terrain. He's the guy that does the Tycho spaceport set and the isolation protocols. Some of my favorite 3D printed scenery used for Dead Zone. And so that was the latest one I did, which has like the 4 engines on it, and it's just like a wrecked hull. That was kind of fun in that I've been trying to practice dry brushing. So like doing it where it's black paint, spray paint for priming, and then do a couple of dry brush of gray and white, and then hitting it with like contrast paints. really just trying to find ways to get this stuff
Fast.
painted up and,
Yeah.
and table ready fast.
Actually, what you can do is base
I don't
the
have
color.
an airbrush.
Well, you can just get a rattle can gray,
Yeah.
and then get a big brush, maybe like a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch wide brush, and just dry brush with that. And
To
then-
make it look real rough.
Yeah.
As opposed to doing black,
Yes.
do gray instead.
Well, primer them, then paint them all gray, and then
Or Zenith.
white.
Do a Zenith and then do that. Yeah.
Zenith and then
What is
a
that?
dry
I mean, but for the sake of speed, I just do black.
Or even since they're crashed, make it do it like gray, and then from the where it's crashed to, just spray black up so it looks like it's a charring. You know?
that could be fun.
Yeah, it might work.
But if you're looking for speed,
Yeah.
prime it
Yeah,
gray,
anything
and
I can
then-
do with
and then
spray paint.
then a wide brush, like a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And don't waste paint. Don't waste good contrast paints on terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all you need is just a dark gray and then a light gray or white to dry brush. It'll hit all the high points.
Although it did look awesome.
Okay.
So the end
Oh, nice.
result looked cool, but yeah, it probably is going to cost
I
you an arm
will
and a
say
leg.
I feel like the camera was doing a little bit more legwork in those shots than when I've got it this close to my face, it's like.
Yeah.
But when it's sitting on the table and you're at least a foot away from it,
Yeah,
it's
but
fine.
but don't waste contrast paint on.
Yeah, it does. I've been finding like contrast doesn't work great on big flat.
No, it doesn't work on
flatter
flat
pieces
surfaces.
anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
You'll
try
find big brush, dry brush is a way to go with bigger items like that.
yeah. So,
And since it is crashed, it doesn't matter how bad it looks because that was all done by the atmosphere.
Yeah.
True. It's what happens when you run into
planet.
the Earth at Mach 10. But yeah, that's been the majority of my hobby time. It's been a neat project to do. Like I said, I've been trying to practice more and come up with those techniques that I have not established or added to my toolkit yet. So just good things to practice and for future things.
Yeah, and the good news is if you get a big brush, it can be like a 75-cent brush because you're dry brushing, so it doesn't make a difference how abused it gets.
Yeah.
Cheap paint too. Get like the apple barrel paints or whatever from Walmart. The cheapest paints you can get.
Yeah, that's a good way to do.
Don't waste good paints either.
For your highlights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for a lot of the future pieces I'll be working on, that's it. Because I do have a bunch of more of that Corvus game train. Because they're actually, the fun thing about them is I spoke to the guy and they're going to be sponsoring a couple tables at
Nice.
Awesome.
Adepticon. So that are going to be all of their terrain.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then some thrown in some prize support as well for the event. So really
good
cool
to have.
guys. And
They're going to be there, obviously.
I don't know actually. I mean,
Where are they from?
Since they do 3D models. I forget where. I think is he Irish?
Oh, it's from Europe somewhere.
He's not coming out.
He's not.
I don't expect to see him at Adepticon, but I absolutely love the terrain that they put out. They've been great for Dead Zone and for firefights. So yeah, I wanted to showcase it and spread the love on that.
Cool.
So I think with that, put a wrap on hobby time and head on into the ComStar.
Excellent.
Message from ComStar.
And welcome back to the ComStar. This is the section of the show where we talk about, TVs, movies, news, books, comic books, everything under the sun of the giant mecha genre, if you will, that we've enjoyed in the last month. And so I'm going to throw it over to Rob this time to start us off.
Sure. There is some news. The Aegis Kickstarter. Those guys, they killed it. They ended up with what is it?
Killed it as in they did very well.
They did very well. Yeah, they over 1,000 backers and over $100,000 for their Kickstarter, which is great for them.
Nice.
Like I think they did what they did last time in their first 48 or 24 hours, maybe 48.
Oh, nice.
So they obviously got a lot of word of mouth between their last Kickstarter and this one. So I hope to see them at at Gen Con. I assume they'll be there, so we'll check them out there. But yeah, I can't wait to see the game. It's gonna be fun. So it's good to hear from that. I don't know if we want to get into the memorial part. Do you want to just save that for the MechBay, or do you want to mention it here?
I mean, we can mention it here. It'll ironically kind of touch on another thing that I did this month. So yeah, we can bring it up now.
Yeah. So the creator of Battleship Yamato and also Harlock and what's that other one? The train one. Space. 999.
Galaxy Express 39.
Yeah. He passed away. It's Leiji Matsumoto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also of Interstellar 55555. I think I had that right number of fives. It's 5 fives.
He was 85, so he lived a long and prosperous life and gave us lots of great anime to watch. So
yes, he did.
So it's a
great stories.
Yeah.
You know, and about not only the space and really crazy concepts of like, why don't we just have like sailing ships in space?
Yeah.
Why don't we just have trains in space?
Yeah, it was imaginative stuff. It wasn't trying to be accurate. It was just cool stories, yeah. And some of the greatest looking characters too. So.
Oh yeah, and just the stories being told with that as the backdrop. Very human stories, very as alien as a lot of it was. At the end of the day, there was a lot of very mature storytelling going on.
Yeah. So rest in peace. But we'll get more into that in MechBay Hanger because it's inspired Bryan. So.
Yeah.
Other than that, for me personally, I've been playing a hell of a lot of MechWarrior 5. I got it on Steam, so me and Pat have been playing the co-op a lot, but it's also played it solo a lot, and it's been fun. A few hiccups here and there. I did have, when I installed the new expansion, I had all my save games just go away for that expansion, so then I got knocked back quite a few years, so I had to replay a lot of the stuff.
Gosh.
But good old glitches, but it's still a fun game. I got it originally when I think I actually backed on Kickstarter when it came out, and I played it a little teeny bit, but since then I played a lot more first-person shooters like Cyberpunk and stuff like that, so I'm a lot more into playing that format, so I'm a lot more used to it. I never used to be a first-person shooter kind of guy, so, and that's sort of what the game is. You're in the pilot seat, so
yeah,
and fun times. And all the classic mechs and everything. Pretty cool storylines too, which is fun. So in the last expansion just came out for it, which was the Rasselhag, and you go from the beginning of them showing up, so it's kind of fun. A lot of history too. I was amazed that as points in the year tick on, all of a sudden some historical thing happens. I'm like, oh, they actually built that into the game. That's pretty fun. A lot of games are just I know in the other Battletech game, you just played for hundreds of years. It didn't matter what the time was, but this one it actually matters what the year is, so it's kind of cool. That's about it for me, though. I don't think I've done any movies or anything else. I did finish reading the rest of the other series for the Marvel Mech series. I don't think I might have talked about it last time, but it's wacky. To sell toys, but the DC one, I don't know what's there for because it's not selling toys, but at least the Marvel one has a toy line associated with it, so it makes sense. But anyways, that's about it for me. Anybody else got any ComStar?
Pat, how about you?
Not too much again, but like Rob said, I've been playing a lot of MechWarrior 5 myself. Most of the co-op, because I find that I like the co-op. We make mention of this. The best part of the co-op is that you can help each other through the missions and help build up your storyline. So, because the AI is dumb.
Yeah, you have lance mates and they're stupid. They just do dumb things sometimes.
So it's like we'll use your. I came in and we decided to play Rob's campaign to get him move forward, and you were stuck on was it a story plot line?
Oh yeah.
Because you kept getting overwhelmed, so it took me and him
Yeah, like Pat actual tactics where I would go up and draw him back, and then Pat would snipe him. Where the AI would never be smart enough to do that. Like you can't set them to do that. So there's things like that where.
If you have MechWarrior 5, make sure you have someone to play because it will make the game easier.
I can imagine playing with like 4 guys. That'd be real fun. Have each guy in the lance.
So.
Like I think it'd be almost too easy because you would be way too smart, but but it's fun.
I don't know. There's some of those ones where all of a sudden you're getting bombarded by SRM tanks and there's 8 mechs around you.
I have in my current lance I have I think it's an Atlas or something, and he keeps getting destroyed. I'm like, how does this guy keep getting destroyed in an Atlas? Like, come on, what are you doing to do this? You know, like I want to just one time just follow him around, see how stupid he is. Like, what is he doing?
Maybe he's threat level 1, and everyone just goes after him.
Yeah, but he just stands there, I guess, and just takes it. I don't know.
Or that too. Maybe he thinks he's a Steiner.
I don't know.
But yeah, if you don't have it, get it. It's a fun game.
It's super cheap, and it was on sale, but I think it's going to be on sale a lot more because it's out of life.
Just the co-op option of it is worth the deal because you don't have to play it solo, and if you get frustrated with the AI, like I said, you can just get together with your friends and each rotate through and play each other's campaigns, and it's even cool that like I'll forward the campaign and find the missions while Rob is fixing all the mechs.
Yeah, you can choose to do things. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun game. It's we're late to it, but it's worth playing if you're a Battletech fan.
So there you go, Brian. If you want to be a third pilot, we could always use a third pilot.
I've been so like my like video gaming time is so strangely like narrow, especially right now.
Yeah.
But like I've managed to get a couple of things in time since last month. I've actually been playing. Restarted, or I shouldn't say restarted. I picked up where I left off on Xenogears, which I forget if I mentioned last time. I was on the eve of like a big like battle when I had just like walked away from the game for a while. So to like come back and try to remember how to play.
Yeah, during massive this, fight.
You know, like multi-mech battle onslaught kind of thing. That was fun because I completely forgot how to heal my mechs while I'm fighting. So there was a couple where I'm just like, I'm just gonna hammer them in the hope that I make it through. I'm just running out of health quick. But pick that up again. Based on I won't lie, I'm using a guide. Some of these older games and I am only playing them kind of like an hour or so before bed. So it's like
you don't have time to bash your head against a wall.
Yeah, I just don't really have the time for the grind. And so, but I think I'm maybe 3/4 of the way through at this point. Seems to be getting near that end game stage. So, hopefully that it's a little bit of a spoiler for a game that's however many years old now, PlayStation 1 era. But when your submarine can fly, that's where we're at. So it's very Nadia, the Secret of the Blue Water.
Reminds me of in Final Fantasy when you finally can get the ship flying. You're like, God, thank you, I'm free.
Yep. So always a great part of those early RPGs when you get the airship that can take you around the world.
Yep.
And then I've also been playing. My brother had gifted me Halo 5 from over Christmas, and I know it's not the favorite in the set, but it's one I hadn't played before, and so I've been working my way through that, and we'll see how it goes. It is one thing where I think I mentioned before I like watched all of Red versus Blue. Including some of the newer stuff, and there's a lot of the same kind of vibe. I mean, in part because it was the same engine at that point, so stylistically it looks very similar. But also like like cinematic events and everything are all
You're
very
like, you expect some of the characters to pop up?
yeah, pretty much. And like everyone's kind of their own unique little Spartan. There's like a group of Spartans that you're running around with, and they're all doing like kick flips and taking out dudes, and as the camera's like trying to follow everything going on. So it reminded me of that, not in the greatest way, because I always felt like Halo's cutscenes were very grounded.
Yeah.
So I think this is like a point that people picked up on of that change, that shift in tone that Halo was kind of taking at the time. So, I'll see how it goes. I'm intrigued by what ultimately happens in the story. I do think that one misstep that they had is they have a lot of elements that are from the books, specifically Blue Team, which is Master Chief's like original team that he piled around with before the adventures of the first Halo, and they're just kind of there. Like suddenly they're in the scene, and it's like, well, if I read the book, I read so far in the books, I'm like, I thought those guys were like lost. Like we haven't touched on them at all in the video game franchise that they even exist. So I felt like there could have been some
lead into
little
them.
bit of explanation of introduction, if you will.
I wonder if there was like some tie-in media or something that did it.
There is a novel that explains kind of like how they arrived at the party.
Yeah.
As it were, but like it's funny too, because like even in the books they get like sidelined. They're kind of tucked away for most of the conflict of the Human Covenant War, and then it's kind of like, and they're suddenly back. And if you've read this book over here,
you'll know
on
why.
top of that books, you need to read like these 5 books just to even know who these guys are.
Yeah.
And where
your
they
favorite
are,
guys, you don't know who they are.
Yeah. And it's great because their names are like Fred. And, Master Chief's name is John, right? So it's all very plain names. But anyway, I'll keep you guys posted on my thoughts on Halo 5 as I go through it, and hope people don't care for spoilers on that one, because whatever, it's Halo 5.
Yeah.
And then as kind of the last point on the media front is that kind of tied into the Leiji Matsumoto news, sadly, is like the week before, my wife was out of town and for a day, and so I decided to watch. I had Arcadia of My Youth, which is like the Harlock's kind of origin story movie. And I watched it alone because it's like 2.5 hours long, and my wife wouldn't care for any of it. But I had it on Blu-ray for the longest time, and I'm like, I want to finally sit down and watch this, and really enjoyed it. Like,
so this was before he passed away.
Yeah, this was.
So
before
it's
he
your
passed away,
fault.
It is my fault. I'm finding more and more often, when
curse.
I watch a major part of media that I've been wanting to. For the longest time, something related to it dramatically happens. I kid you not. The last time it happened was I finally got around to watching Revolutionary Girl Utena, and literally the next day, gay marriage was made illegal in the United States. So,
see, you're like a harbinger of doom.
Yeah, or good, in that case.
Sometimes.
But anyway, that's enough about that. But yeah, I really did like the Harlock movie. It's something where I really love Leiji Matsumoto's like artistic style. I've watched the newer take on the Battleship Yamato, and I've watched the Galaxy Railways and 3-9. Are kind of been the only entries that I've actually had into his universe, but I absolutely love every single one of them. They stand out stylistically and artistically. Like I mentioned earlier, the stories within them are very complex and emotional and very human, despite all the fantastical things. Like Galaxy Railways has like 3 storylines where the main character like jumps into in the past for some reason, and is there, by his brothers while he's about to die on a battlefield. Like, uh, just kind of like weird things that happen in space, but at the same time, it's still a very human story being told. Go check out Galaxy Railways if you haven't yet.
Any of his works should be checked out.
For sure.
But with that, I think we'll move on to the MechBay Hanger and talk more about some pirates.
Now entering the MechBay Hanger.
I noticed that Snapper says Rob no. Is it supposed to say Rob no? Rob no.
Where does it say that? Oh, at the top, yeah.
At the top.
Yeah, it's some director stuff. You just love this clapper. You have to mention it every time.
I have to mention it every time. Well, welcome back to the MechBay Hanger. Rob has a clapper that he signals us in so that he can edit around the in-betweens.
But Bryan refuses to not acknowledge it.
And I will continue to break the rules because, like any good pirate, the rules are just suggestions and guidelines. But yeah, so we thought in honor of Matsumoto's passing that we would talk about space pirates and pirates in the context and themes of mech and mech related franchises and whatnot like that. So just we thought we'd mention a couple of our favorites. This doesn't have to be the wholehearted good guys fighting for freedom like Harlock necessarily. There are a lot of pirates that are out there and up to no good. So
it's almost in the name. It's almost part of their tradition.
So I want to start off with a quick honorable mention of Metalbeard from the Lego movie.
Metalbeard.
He's a giant pirate that's like a mech.
And he's got a shark on his arm.
He's got a shark on his arm. He's got cannons on his arm. He's just a big Lego monstrosity. And I thought it'd be fun to mention Metalbeard as a mecha pirate.
But he's pretty cool.
He is a fun one. But my official kind of first one that I thought I'd bring up is actually Long John Silver from Treasure Planet. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, there is a movie called Treasure Planet, and it is a space age take on the Treasure Island tale. And in it, we are met with Long John Silver, who is the cook on the ship. He is a cyborg in that he has a mechanical hand and leg that he uses to take over the ship and try to thwart our heroes and steal the treasure. It's a really fun movie. In my opinion, it's not a perfect movie. It's got some flaws, but I always find it incredibly imaginative, especially with the designs and artistically. It's always been very striking to me, and it's got some real heartfelt moments within it. But Long John Silver is kind of the second main character of the story and fluctuates between being a villain and just an antagonist. There's a lot of great chemistry that he has with our main lead, and yeah, I thought with the space sci-fi lean that they applied to his character and kind of the technology that they made to do the 2D and 3D elements of his character and make it look very seamless is very impressive to me. So yeah, I'm going to start off with Long John Silver.
Long John.
So I'm going to then throw it over to Pat.
Okay, so my pirate is actually just a faction of space pirates from Mobile Suit Gundam AGE, the Bisidian.
Nice.
Yeah, so I guess the overview is that they start as the enemy of the Earth against the Fetties, and I guess in this I don't know too much about AGE. I'm also good on AGE as much as I think that started off as a manga, right?
Well, I Yeah, I forget if it started off as a manga. I know one of the I don't know if I'd say gimmick or themes of Gundam Age was that you follow multiple generations of
Yes,
characters.
it goes through different ones. Even with the Bisidian, they have two main captains from different ages. I can't even remember the first guy's name, but he looked like the pirate, had the black beard and the hat, and then
Classic.
Captain Ash. Then Captain Ash, who was like a young kid. Uh, but they were mainly against the Fetties attacking. I think the Fetties in the manga are trying to colonize Mars, and
Okay.
so they're raiding those ships, and in raiding those ships, they also bring on the ire of an alien race. And I
Like you do.
want to say they were. It's spelled Vagan, but I think in the series they actually called them vegans because we used to make fun of them.
Makes sense.
The vegans.
All vegans are from outer space.
That's right. They're all enemies to society.
Yeah, and the vegans. If
That's
you
how they get their
if you look at
superpowers.
their sketches too, they're kind of had like they almost look like Admiral Akbar, but his
Okay.
suit was a helmet, not a head.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but it goes through a series of those through the war against the vegans and the Earth Fetties.
The war against the vegans.
Yeah, and Captain Ash is the one I kind of gravitated more to because he had actually a ship that he would command everything out of, and I don't remember the name of that ship.
Gundam has weird ship names like
Yeah,
Nahel Argama. Like, what is that? Where do you come up with that?
exactly. But you know, I think anything that goes against the Fetties is awesome. So
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the Federation is not all good guys.
no, but anything against the Fetties.
Alrighty.
But they did, and Gundam AGE did have a few set of different Gundams out of there too, if I remember right. They had like what do they call it, the Dark Hound?
Yeah, that's one that I was just showing. It's got the skull in
Yeah.
the forehead. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
It's all black.
yeah, so there's some really cool looking Gundams that came out of Age and
Yeah, it's funny.
because I think they had their own mech Gundam. If I remember right, I think they called them BMS, Bisidian mobile suits.
Ooh, neato.
That's a blank spot in my knowledge of Gundam. I've never ever seen any of the Age stuff. So
Yeah, I admittedly know very little about Gundam Age.
I just read a couple of the mangas at the time.
Some of the suits that show up like in like build fighters, do look really neat. Is kind of my only tangential connection to Age. So
but that would be my first set of pirates.
nice.
alrighty.
Pay
How about you,
homage.
Rob?
These ones you might argue aren't pirates, but I would say they are. It's the Junkions from Transformers. I think they're pirates. They do piratical stuff. They steal from the poor Transformers who land on their planets, but yeah, the Junkions. Eric Idle as their leader,
Yeah.
hilarious,
Yeah, I was gonna say like they like Weird Al quite a bit,
and they like
there.
Weird Al. Yeah, it's true. All pirates like Weird Al. It's a little known fact.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's my first one. I just thought the Junkions. I was like, pirates. I think they're pretty piratical.
Puritanical.
No,
maybe.
not puritanical.
That might be something else.
But yeah, I love, and they all turn into motorcycles of some sort, which is also fun.
Very piratey.
Very pirate motorcycles, all spikes everywhere.
Yes, all spikes.
Although they
The
do have a
biker gang.
orange and black and brown color scheme, so that's not that piratical. But
Well, that's just to sell it to the kids.
Yeah,
Got to make piracy cool.
if it's not black and red, it's not real pirates, right? So
yeah.
so that's my first one. There you go.
All right. Well, my second one, I think I mentioned a number of times on the show that I've always found that the Tenchi Muyo, like universe and space faring nature of it, I've always been fascinated by like the spaceships and things like that. They're just so unique and different. And for the next one on my list, I have Ryoko and her ship, Ryo-ohi, which is a little space bunny rabbit thing that transforms into a giant like prawned
Very organic
spaceship.
looking.
Yes, very very crazy looking, and but really fascinating. Like I really enjoy her character. I think she falls under that archetype of, I think they're called like Dragon Lady, where she's very energetic and Revy from Black Lagoon is like another example. Like to throw out another pirate. Um,
Hey,
and
Dragon Lady.
yeah, and but I've always really liked her character. As much as she puts our main lead Tenchi on his back foot, in that she's very aggressive in her attentions and affections for him.
As pirates are.
She, as pirates are, she sees something she wants, and she's gonna try to get it. Um, and but I've always really enjoyed like her character arc that she goes through in that, and I do like that she is just kind of this wanted criminal, known for kind of Vash the Stampede levels of damage to planets and intergalactic piracy, and at the end of the day, like she spends most of the show just kind of lounging around this guy's house, um, you know, after being trapped in a tree for thousands of years or something like that.
You know how it has.
People age really weirdly in that show. But yeah, and again, like the character designs for her, I've always found really really cool and stylistic. She has that like in her kind of her pirate outfit that you see like for wanted posters of her and stuff like that. She is that quintessential like 90s anime action girl kind of thing, where it's like a big crazy gun, like some kind of weird sensor eye thing, and straight out of like Dragon Ball Z or what's that show, Iria. So yeah. So Ryoko is kind of my second pick for the pirate list. What's next on yours, Pat?
Mine is a short story pirate from the Battletech universe, Silas Bell. His side story is that he is a pirate involved in vanishing a big dropship called the Nova Hunter. And as you read through all the short stories, you find out in the first story he takes a bullet to the head and was thought to be dead. But then he later goes crazy and kills himself because of the bullet wound.
Like you do.
Yeah, but then as you read the story, because the stories revolve around his daughter narrating the stories about where Nova Hunter is, and they have their own drop ship, which is similar to the one that everyone looks for. And the Nova Hunter is like I don't want to call it a pre-air, but it supposedly has lots of treasure in it. So everyone's looking for this drop ship in these short stories.
Gotcha.
And the stories revolve around the daughter Justine Bell telling the stories about her dad and people trying to get information and thinking it. And then eventually people start to turn on her. Her stepdad ends up killing her mother, who was Silas Bell's wife first, trying to get information from him. And then it's all Machiavellian from there. And all these short stories were released on that WizKids. They had it. What was that website? Battlecore. Do you remember that, Rob?
No, but I know of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they would release the short stories of them. That's where I read all these short stories back in the day. Wasn't super in the clickies, but at least we were getting stories in it, because we weren't getting any stories anymore. And a lot of these stories on Battle Cores, I think, were fan made, and some were published.
Okay.
So
I think they did anthologies from it, didn't they?
I think so too. Yeah.
Really
And
cool.
so I think what did they call it? It's the Justin Bell stories. I think it's Justine, but it could be Justin. Who knows? It's a girl. Is the daughter, and she's got it's three stories. I think they're Old Legend Never Dies, Titanium Rose, and then two mechs, three queens, and a pug
Walk into a bar.
was the last one. And I think there was so, and if I remember right, the two mechs, three queens, and a pug. You find out that the ship that she's piloting is not the dropship everyone's looking for. And then she finds out that her dad might not really be dead.
Spoilers.
Yeah. So, who's gonna go back and read this one? And this is, I think this is where I also learned about the Franken-Mech term at that time, because her Battletech, or her battle mech in the last story is the head of an enforcer on top of Vindicator body. So,
Nice.
Fortress class. That's the name. That's the type of dropship everyone's looking for.
Gotcha.
It came to me all of a sudden. So
That little part of your brain unlocked.
yeah, as I'm talking. So all this stuff on all these three stories are supposedly happened pre-clan invasion area too.
That's why you like them.
Yeah. So that's it for me.
All right, Rob, what's your next pick?
Very similar. I just went for a general pick, but it's all the Periphery Bandit Kingdoms from Battletech. I just love them in general because whenever you need just a random enemy to fight, they're the perfect foil because they just could be anybody. You know, they like Pat said, they have random mechs. Some of them lashed together in various Franken forms, and the Periphery field guide was we first find out about all these bandit kingdoms, and yeah, I just love it. Now all the different video games and stuff, you always end up fighting these guys, and they are usually just random bad guys, and it's I think every game needs this generic bad guy to fight. So
I agree.
And, it's always handy to have.
You don't have to have any political leanings. They're just pirates. Pirates are fun to fight. What can you say? And bandit kingdoms. There's like a lot of famous ones, but generally I like the generic versions because the moment you get famous ones, they have to have backstories and things like that. You don't want that. You just want to just murder them on the field in battle.
You don't want that.
This is in game terms, at least, not in story terms.
Yes.
So that's it.
Very
Periphery bandit kingdoms from Battletech.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think it's for my last one that we'll kind of do just the three for this time. I've talked at length about my enjoyment of the Outlaw Star series, and most notably, there's a whole part in the anime where they talk about the three forces of power in the universe, in the galaxy, and it's you have the space forces, you have the pirates, and you have the outlaws. And our crew are the outlaws, which means they're up against a lot of pirates. And in particular, there is a band called the Anten 7 that are sent to deal with our plucky heroes and retake the spaceship which they stole from said pirate organization. So there's 7 of these kind of elite killers that are sent to deal with our heroes, and they come in a variety of specialties and combat types and whatnot. There's a guy that's kind of I'm getting too old for this kind of thing, and he's just carrying around a big sack of guns. And it's like each one challenges our heroes in a different way. I think with the exception being this one dude that looks like Vega from Street Fighter, in that he is a comic relief character in the Hot Springs episode, as he keeps like trying to attack our heroes in the in the background of a shot and keeps getting like taken out by rushing water or train, or something will knock him out. And fun fact, in the English dub, he hums "If I Only Had a Brain" to himself. But yeah, so the Anten 7 is a great dynamic group of villains that our heroes have to face and overcome, and in their own way kind of grow from the experience of facing them. So I really enjoy Outlaw Star, and it for me, it does kind of have one of the, if Captain Harlock sets a bar for where space pirates are, like, for me, Outlaw Star is right there close with their treatment of pirates in their galaxy. So yeah, I like Outlaw Star, and the Anten 7 are crazy. So Pat, do you have one last one for us?
I do not have any more.
Okay.
He's tapped out.
I'm tapped out.
That's fair.
It was hard. It was hard enough to find the two I had. Honestly, I just don't see a lot of pirates in my.
I think there is. You don't think about them. That's a problem. I was the same way. I was like, I'm sure there's pirates. You just get you got to bring it to your head. You're like, was this anime? There's pirates in that anime? I can't remember.
and a lot of times, ultimately, like, a lot of these do just kind of come off as like one-off battles, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like, oh, they're space pirates, let's fight them.
Yes.
And then we move on.
Mm-hmm.
There's often a bigger plot or plight at work, as opposed to it being like the focus of a series of any kind. So, Rob, did you have one more?
Yep. My last one is from Exo-Squad. I went for the generic bad guys in the last one, and this time it starts out, you think these pirate clans are generic bad guys. They live out past I can't remember how far out, like past Jupiter. They have the pirate kingdom, and they're like causing trouble for the Earth government. And you're like, oh, these are the bad guys. And then the Neo-Sapiens rebel, and all of a sudden the Earth government has to flee, and they flee to these pirate kingdoms. And then the pirates end up being the good guys. So led by Simbacca, he's like he brings the pirates into legitimacy pretty much in Exo-Squad to come back and fight the Neo-Sapiens. And it turns out to be the pirates make good. So I thought I'd redeem my last pick with the bad pirates with some good pirates.
Nice.
But they are a major plot line to this story, because you're like, oh, they're the bad guys, because at the beginning they're just ruthless, and then they turn around. So there you go, Exo-Squad, a very underrated American cartoon from the back in the day. Didn't last long enough.
Yeah, Exo-Squad. I was like, oh my god, you so just said it. I was thinking, is he really talking about that cartoon?
Yeah, it's great. It's a great show. Right around the same time as Battletech.
Yeah, I think Mask was around that time too, wasn't it?
Mask was a lot earlier, because that was G.I. Joe, Mask, Transformers. There was the earlier generation. This was like 90s, I guess. These ones came out maybe early 90s. And when Battletech came out and you're like, they had this terrible CGI and stuff, where Exo-Squad kind of did it right without trying to add too much of the extra CGI stuff. So that was the only problem with Battletech. Battletech could have been great. It's just all the battles were in that terrible CGI and it looked terrible. So, anyways,
it was state of the art.
Yeah, it was at the time, unfortunately.
But,
until Beast Wars, nothing really could do. And Reboot, but that was
Reboot.
Yeah, but Reboot was made you're in the computer, so it's supposed to look kind of janky sometimes, right? So
fair.
You're not trying to recreate reality, which these were, and it was terrible. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, with that, obviously, Captain Harlock and Queen Esmeralda and all the others from the Leiji Matsumoto universe, make the list for sure. And
yeah, of course.
We'd be remiss to not mention them, but at the same time, we think they stand up on their own and don't really need our recommendation.
Especially Harlock. Harlock is like the basis of all pirates. So
yeah, it really is.
All space pirates come from him.
And even just kind of his little dramatic pose, where
and his little skull and crossbones on his chest, and
he's definitely is a template that everyone copied.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And so definitely go and check out all of that catalog there, because there's few weak entries to begin with, and that's because they're all at least good, if not better. Yeah, and that includes Interstellar 5555, the Daft Punk music video anime movie, which is a whole album long with no other dialogue. It's great.
That's Daft Punk for you.
Yeah, and so kind of with that, if you guys have any piratey themed either spacefaring or mech related anime shows, comics, anything under the sun that you'd like to mention or point out,
because I'm sure we're forgetting some major ones, that's for sure.
Yep, leave it in the YouTube comments below, because we're gonna have those now.
Yeah,
and or hit us up on Facebook. That's where our main community I think hangs out. We also have Discord as well. But I'm doing Rob's job here. This is usually like
we got ExFil to do too. Don't waste it all here.
Yeah. All right. So with that, we're gonna head on out to the ExFil.
Let's ExFil out of here.
And with the second sound of the clapper, we find
nothing's behind the scenes for Bryan.
this time with the record button clicked, and so here we are to wrap up the show. Thank you all for joining us on this adventure through Space Pirates and whatnot, remembering some of the greats that are out there, and making our recommendations to check all of it out, because there's good to be had there. And
it's true.
And yeah, so wherever your space travels may take you, and you always fight for freedom till your bones are nothing but dust.
Wow.
How artistic.
Yes, I'm stealing it from people, but I'll stop there, because I get a little too artistic, and it's getting late at night, and I can't think straight. So with that, Rob, you want to take us away?
Please like, share, subscribe on the YouTubes. This is going to be where it's going to live. I think Podbean will end in June, I think we decided. So come on over here if you want to keep listening. Tell us how you liked seeing our pretty faces, and how seeing the pictures also in the podcast worked for you. I just kind of popped them up. Brian's making crazy faces. That scared me a bit there. But yeah, tell us how you liked it. Please do comment, because we do like responding to everybody. And as a video podcast, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, and if there's anything you'd like to see as part of a video podcast,
if you'd like not see us too, please.
Yeah, if you'd also like to just have us,
we'll just wear masks, have
picture backgrounds or something, as opposed to.
I got lots of masks. I can just throw one on.
Exactly.
Or we can parade around our little gun plot or something like that.
Yeah, I don't have any to hand. It's all over there.
Yeah, mine's downstairs.
But yeah, that's about it. Please do tell us how you like this new video version. And if you don't like it, sorry, it's going to be his.
Yeah.
But tell us anyway. But with that, I've been Bryan.
I've been Chopper.
I've been Rob.
Good night, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
Adios, amigos.
Post-Adepticon.
This has been Mobile Armor Radio. Join our Facebook group by searching for Mobile Armor Radio. Find us on Twitter @MArmorRadio. Find us on iTunes and visit our website, mobilearmorradio.podbean.com. Join us on the first of every month for more mecha discussion.